before we start the meeting. Well, you know, we gotta run a meeting now. We have to run a meeting.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We will take out the sign once we're done with it so we could have pictures outside, but we need to start the meeting. We are starting the meeting. We'll take the sign outside once we've discussed the item. It is 7:05 on November 14th, and I call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Mr. Calvo,
Present.
Ms. Pacheco,
Present.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Present.
Ms. Perez,
Present.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Present.
Mr. Tumidor,
Present.
Mr. Zogby.
Zogby.
Madam President, you have a full council.
Thank you. If I could please have silence in the chamber. If I could please have silence in the chamber. We need to begin. Si por favor podemos tener silencio. Can we please stand for the invocation led by our city clerk?
Lord, we pray for your guidance and direction and benefit of those who live and work in the city of Hialeah. Amen.
Amen. Can Councilmember Calvo lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, can you please read the meeting guidelines?
The following guidelines have been established by the city council. All lobbyists must register with the city clerk. As a courtesy to others, please refrain from using cellular telephones or other similar electronic devices in the council chamber. A maximum of 3 speakers in favor and 3 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the council on any one item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. No signs or placards in support of or in opposition to an item or speaker shall be permitted within the council chamber. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on matters of public concern or on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may address the city council on any item pertaining to city business during the comments and questions portion portion of the meeting. A member of the public is limited to one appearance before the city council, and the speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. The public can view public meetings on the city's YouTube page. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I would like to take a moment of silence. Over the weekend, our Hialeah Police and our Hialeah City of Hialeah family lost one of our public safety 911 communicators, which was Brandy. She was known as the mother of our 911 center. She was very loved. Her commanding officer, which is George Yanes, said that her loss leaves us with an enormous void. Brandy served our community with an unwavering dedication, a work ethic beyond reproach. She was always cool, calm, and collective on the other side of that radio when officers needed it most. On behalf of her immediate family, we ask for their privacy until we meet again, and once again, hear your angelic voice on the other side of that radio, 4509. So I would like to take a moment just to remember Brandy. I think that this job that they do at that 911 center is, as we've seen nationwide, a job that many people don't want, can't do, are not fit to do. And she did it with such poise, and we lost her, and it's a great loss for the city of Hialeah. So if we could please take a moment of silence to remember Brandy. Thank you, Brandy, for your 27 years here at the Hialeah 911 Communication Center. Thank you. Moving on, we see that there's a lot of red, white, and blue in this room, a lot of support in this room, and I'm very proud to see a sea of colors. I would like to just remind how we function for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to sit with us in the council chamber. We do have a part of the agenda that says comments and questions. I believe that many of you might be here for what's before me here in the middle of council chambers, which is the dedication to Donald Trump, right? So what we're gonna do is during comments and questions, we're gonna have 8 people that maybe are for or 8 people that may be against, okay? We could also have a moment where we wave in silence, those of you that want to show support, or those of you will have a moment that whoever wants to be against the item. And then we will pull the item, and hopefully by then everyone has already spoken on behalf of this item. So we're not here till very late. So that's how we're going to run today's meeting. If you want to, amongst yourself, once we have a moment to speak on comments and questions, want to decide who are the 8 that are for it, go ahead and we could arrange that before we begin. We're going to move on now. You have a question? Oh, okay. I heard talking over here. We're going to move on now to the election of the council president. I would like to say a few words before we move on to this portion, before the clerk reads it into the record. And I would like to say that today I stand before you with a heart filled with gratitude and reflection as I've decided to bring my time as council president to a close. It has been an incredible journey, one that has allowed me to serve in this esteemed council in our beloved city. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to each and every one of you for entrusting me with the privilege of leading this council. The past 12 months have been nothing but transformative, and it's an honor to have played a part in this community. As council president, I have had the opportunity to witness firsthand the dedication and passion that each member that sits here at the table brings. Together, we have worked to address concerns for our constituents, and it has truly been a collaborative effort. and I'm proud of what we've accomplished together. However, as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and today I announce my decision to step down from this position as council president. I firmly believe that there's a time now for renewed energy to guide this council forward. And with that being said, I would like to take a moment to nominate someone that I think that is highly capable and that I believe will be a perfect successor. And I motion to nominate Councilman Jesus Tundidon, who has consistently demonstrated his dedication to the city, and I have full confidence in his ability to accommodate the needs of this council and lead us towards further progress. I hope I have the council support this evening once it's read into the record, and I will motion. Thank you again to the city, and I hope to have your support. At this time, I would like to move my gavel to the Vice President and have Madam Clerk read it into the record. Thank you.
Election by the city council of one of its members as council president pursuant to section 3.01 subsection C of the Hialeah Charter.
Through the
Thank you,
chair.
and I would like to
Through the
motion.
chair.
Second.
Through the chair.
Second.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. I believe there could be a motion unless the item is read into the record. So I just wanted to say that I think we've said it in the past, you know.
I just motioned. She
And
read
there's
it
a
into the
second.
record and I motioned, and I heard a second by Luis Rodriguez.
Can I talk then?
I don't know if the council vice president has acknowledged you. You motioned. I don't know if she acknowledged you.
I said there was a motion and there's a second.
He's asking if he could talk.
Can I talk?
Would you guys like to hear what he has to say?
You're the one with the gavel. I motioned and I have a second.
Okay, there's a motion and there's a second. Call the roll. If you want to express it, you can express it afterwards.
Mr. Calvo,
No.
Ms. Pacheco,
No.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby.
Yeah.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman Perez, and again, thank you to this council, for the vote of confidence again.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
No, I was talking about.
Yeah. It's honored and I'm very, very pleased to see where we're at today, especially after everything that we've been through. And I look forward to working with each and every one of you, with our administration and with the rest of the city staff to continue to better the quality of life within the city of Hialeah. Thank you all so much.
Okay, we're moving on to election of council vice president. Item B.
Election by the city council of one of its members as council vice president pursuant to section 3.01 subsection C of the Hialeah Charter.
I motion
Through the
to
chair.
nominate
Through the
Vice
chair.
President Jackie Garcia Robes.
Through the chair.
Okay,
Hello.
okay, what would you like to say? Because there's a motion and there's a second by Luis again.
I understand that, but the way it's supposed to work is I'm supposed to be able to interject if before the motion has been read. You can't just talk all over. There's no procedure then.
But she did it.
Anyways, what I wanted to say was, I think in the past, what has been said here is that, in all fairness, to the rest of us, it's good to give everyone the opportunity to have either the role of council president, or either the role of council vice president. Just looking amongst us, obviously, absent Councilwoman Pacheco, who was recently elected, the only two people that have not been in either role is myself and Councilmember Rodriguez. And I personally can't think of anyone better and better suited for the role with his everlasting calm and confident presence on the council, someone it's a rock and has been to many of the meetings. I barely see him absent. And so my motion was going to be for Councilmember Rodriguez in this case, I guess, for council vice president. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion by Councilwoman Monica Perez, well, Council President. And we have a second by Councilmember Luis Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez, Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to say thank you to Council President Monica Perez for nominating me again, and thank you to all of you for voting in my favor. I've enjoyed doing it, being vice president for a whole year, and I'm gonna enjoy it again for a whole other year. Thank you all very much.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna move on to item 8, presentation. Seeing that there is none, I'm gonna move this to our comments and questions. Good evening. On the bottom, the button?
There you go.
There you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. For the record, my name is Frank De La Paz, 1100 Southwest 104th Street, Miami, Florida. As it has been noted by somebody, here we are again, welcoming the new members of the city council, saying thank you to those that have left. Now you see the name and the face, just like I told you when you all came in. I would like to encourage you to continue to participate. Those that have left us in other city activities, we all need as much help as we can. And I hope that I'll be here after the next election and say goodbye to those who leave and welcome those that came in again. Having said that, I would like to thank the city on behalf of Santa Barbara Catholic Church. We had a wonderful, wonderful festival. It has been the most successful one in many years. We did a change of the dates. I'm very grateful to the city and the mayor's office for providing the stage that we had on the event. And we need more of that cooperation between the city and those religious entities in the city whenever they need it. That was dropped off for the while in the past. Last but not least, I would like to commend the mayor for having the fortitude of expressing his mind, because a lot of politicians lately speak with both sides of the mouth and stay on the fence. And at least, whether you are in favor or not, but at least he's saying what he feels. And with that, I would also like you to pull item HH from the consent agenda, since I believe it's something that has the merit to be discussed by itself. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Hello again. I was here last month. Mayor,
Name and
I'm-
address for the record.
I'm Marie
please.
Rice, 771 East 47th Street, Hialeah.
Thank you.
Mayor Bovo, I want to let you know, thank you for making me sick all month. For you to have the audacity to say that Mayor Mylander's ship sailed a long time ago. Mayor Mylander was a law enforcing mayor. And I'm sorry to see that you became president, Mr. Tundiro, because that you could make a comment that you had to walk your wife, not like all of you live here in Hialeah, that you see all the cars parking over sidewalks, that sidewalks were put to have pedestrian-friendly environment. We are the majority of the area is one family dwelling. Mayor, you even spoke that there's 2 and 3 families living under a roof. And, oh, we don't know what to do. You don't know how to uphold the law in your town. And for you, Mr. Tondito, that you walked with your wife and you had to walk on a sidewalk. God forbid you walked, that you saw cars were in the way. How many years ago was this, sir? Was this 2 or 3 years ago when COVID was here? And what has been done? And here the chief had another police officer speak to me, and he was so all excited because he could show that in my one district that there's 4 police officers in 3 different shifts, that they actually had 30 cars towed in 1 month and 30 cars ticketed or citation in 1 month. You have 12 people a day that drive by seeing cars illegally parked. And it is the police officer's job because code enforcement does nothing. Don't tell me about code enforcement. Plus, they leave at 3:30 in the afternoon. So anytime there are police officers parked on the street, just sitting there doing nothing. They're not working every minute of the day. You want to see people that work every minute of the day? Go to a grocery store that they check out their groceries. They stand on their feet all day long and take care of business. These police officers, if one police officer did 1 ticket a day, that would be 12 tickets a day in each 6 sections. We'd have over almost 1,000 a month done. And if the word started getting out that they cannot park on the sidewalk or they're going to get citations and they're going to get fined and their cars are going to start getting towed, we will have the problem solved. And I couldn't go. I'm opposed to this with Trump having Palm Avenue changed. I want Trump, but I couldn't go to his rally because I wasn't going to drive my car and I couldn't drive my cart. And I wasn't about to sit on the phone at a car parked over the sidewalk, waiting for them to come move it. I didn't even want to attempt it because I'm already furious
All right.
for the way this council is handling the city of Hialeah. You all should be ashamed
All
of
right,
yourself.
Ms. Rice, your time is up.
It is. And this is.
Thank you so much
pathetic.
for your input.
Yes. You
All
haven't
right.
heard the end of me yet.
And for the record, his name is Councilman Tundidor. Tundidor. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Armando Ibarra. I live at 211 Northwest 102nd Street, and I am here today on behalf of the Miami Young Republicans. First, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all the members of the commission, of the city council that were sworn in yesterday. We look forward to your next term in office and wanted to thank you for your public service. We're very excited and very proud of the city that has, I believe, now 5 young people on the city commission, and we're very much in favor of promoting the engagement of young people in our government. I also want to take this opportunity to express support from the Miami Young Republicans for item HH, which would designate a road in honor of President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you.
When I think of Hialeah, I think of my grandparents, who have lived the vast majority of their life here. My grandfather is 97. He's lived in Hialeah for more than 50 years. And I think of all the working class families in Hialeah who work day in and day out to provide a better life for their family. And I believe that this naming of the street after President Donald J. Trump is very appropriate because he has stood up like no other president for working families in our community. And most importantly, he's done more than any other president to stand with the people of Cuba and Venezuela in standing up against the dictatorships in both of those countries. And this is such an important issue for the people in this community, so many of which have escaped tyranny in those 2 countries. And so, again, want to thank you all for your public service, want to encourage you to support item HH, and God bless the city of Hialeah.
If we support an item, let's not make noise. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Ibarra, for being here tonight. Go ahead.
Good evening, honorable members of the council, Mr. Mayor, sir. It is such a pleasure and a privilege to live in a city that is not afraid to stand by the only man within my lifetime.
Before you start, name and address for the record, please, sir.
Right. Well, I mean, I've been here so many times.
I know.
You would think you would know by now, but anyway.
It's just proper protocol.
Right. My
Yeah.
name is Christopher Monsong, and I live at 7540 West 20th Avenue, Hialeah, Florida.
Thank you, Christopher.
And well, once again, I have to reiterate my pleasure and privilege to live in a city where our mayor, Esteban Bobo, has decided, unlike so many politicians today, to stand by a man who is being persecuted, who is being attacked day by day, all throughout for standing for our country. The only president in my lifetime who has unapologetically stood and put America first, and not just America, but the Cuban American community and the values that we hold dear to us. Mr. Mayor, sir, it is an act of courage and fortitude that you're coming under fire for from many corners, but I congratulate you and applaud you for this act, sir. You are doing a great thing. You are standing up against political bullies. You are standing up against censorship and against political persecution, the likes of which we have never seen. Thank you for standing by our President, Donald Trump. Thank you for being a courageous and brave leader in this dark time in our country. And God bless you, sir, and God bless our great city. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Millie Herrera, 4341 East States Lane. I want to apologize for the mayor because the last time I was here, he and I have a lot of animosity, but we used to have a lot of good conversations. And I believe that his vision and my vision for the city was the same. It's different now, so we have that going on. Congratulations, Angelica, your tenacity paid off. You knocked the leg out of that table. I am here to speak against HH. I voted for Trump twice because he was the better option. I am no party affiliation. I grew up in a conservative home. Undoubtedly, I believe that Donald Trump, if you consider him a good president or whatever, he has no historical connection with the city of Hialeah. I have Trump voters that don't believe that this is right. They say it's tacky, it's a political stunt. I believe it's divisive, it's partisan, and our municipal hall this evening has turned into a political campaign. Henry Meilander was the mayor of the people. My father came here in 1966 to put a junkyard. Someone asked me, why do you defend all these junkyards? My father lived in a junkyard. I'm sorry. He lived in a junkyard for 9 or 10 months to bring us out of Cuba. He left my mother pregnant of me. And there were people when I ran for city council that accused me of being a communist. My mother was NPA, and when I was young, I just registered with no party affiliation. And she told me, you don't judge one man, President Kennedy, for what happened in Cuba. One man doesn't have that much power. And if he hadn't done what he did, you and I wouldn't be here because the missiles would have killed us. And I was walking the city in 2021 and I didn't call the police, but I had a man threaten me and I was afraid he was going to shoot me. And I saw the Donald Trump flag and I went to my car and I said, oh my God, what have we done? And I began to read and research and read and research, and my eyes were opened. We cannot have a rematch between Biden and Trump. We don't even know if he's capable of having caused this Israel war just to bring the Democrats down. Angelica knows me. She knows, the people who know me know that I read and I research a lot. But my thing is that this is partisan, and Henry Meilander told the Cubans,
Thank you, Ms.
Come-
Herrera.
come
Ms.
to
Up.
Hialeah.
Thank you. Your
Come-
time is up. Sorry.
Come to Hialeah.
All right.
This is an offense against,
Ms.
just
Herrera, your
normalcy.
time is up.
I'm-
I apologize.
I'm against the naming of this street. This is
We have it on
Veterans
record.
Way.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I come here in peace. My name is Eve Stieglitz. I actually live in northern Miami, 3600 Mystic Point Drive. I'm a lay leader in the Jewish community, and I'm actually proud to be on the Jewish Advisory Committee of the Miami Young Republicans. First, I want to express gratitude to everyone on the council and the mayor for hanging up the Israeli flag in solidarity with Israel and all the Jewish people. It is so extremely meaningful. And I also want to make a comment back there because I was part of a reception when the Trump administration moved the embassy to its rightful place in Jerusalem. And let me tell you, Hialeah is following good company because they also named a street after President Donald Trump in Jerusalem. And I think that's a pretty good city to follow lead from. So may Hialeah be blessed as well. I have so much gratitude for all you've done here. I'm a refugee from New York and a proud Miami resident for 3 years. So thanks for having me and for the warm welcome. And God bless all of you. And thank you again.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Buenas noches a todos.
Good evening to all.
Primeramente quiero felicitarlos a todos por
First
la
of all, I would
labor
like
que
to-
hacen por la ciudad de Hialeah.
First, I would
Mi
like to
nombre
congratulate.
es Rose
Ella
Roque.
un permiso, un momentico. Ella tiene que decir todo lo que usted dice en inglés para las personas
bueno,
que están
está bien.
escuchando. Se le das
Ok.
como una pausa.
That's
Pero
good.
antes de empezar, por favor, si me puede dar el nombre y la dirección suya.
Mi nombre es Rose Roque.
My name
Di-
is Rose Rohan.
Mi dirección es 1270 West 78 Terrace,
My address is 2070 West, 78 Terrace,
Hialeah.
Hialeah.
Gracias.
Okay. I've been here on this country for 61 years. I was 21 years when I came to this country. I want to congratulate Mr. Bobo. I appreciate what you're doing on this city of Hialeah. And I want to let you know that my husband Weston, the Bay of Pig with you. With your father, right? Right. Yes. Yes. And I want
Yo
to
sé que me han caído los años, pero no tan rápido.
I saw that I been to the museum of Hialeah for the Bay of Pig.
That's right.
So when I talk about Mr. Trump, I get very emotional. So I'm gonna be bien explícita. Yo tengo el privilegio
I have the
y la
privilege
bendición
and the
de
blessing.
que he estado con el presidente de Trump varias veces.
I have the privilege that I have been with President Trump
No
in
puedo
various
emocionarme
times.
mucho. Y él es la persona excepcional y
He's an exceptional
para
person
este país,
for this country,
por todo,
for everything.
todo lo que él prometió cuando se postuló para presidente,
Everything that he promised
Lo
as
ha-
president,
lo ha hecho.
he has
So,
done.
Now, he has done everything. So, perdone,
Excuse me.
quiero este país.
I love this country.
Llegué aquí muy joven.
I arrived here really
Cuando
young.
llegué aquí,
When I arrived,
dije, más nunca me voy de este país.
Mm.
Jamás.
When I
Adoro,
when I
Adoro-
arrived, I said I would never leave this country.
adoro los Estados Unidos.
I adore the United States.
I love politics. I love politics. I only watch politics because in Cuba, I work on a city hall like this one. And I work with los periodistas que escribíamos para los
I
periódicos.
worked with
en Cuba.
newsletters.
¿Eh? Pues, bueno, yo trabajaba en periodismo en Cuba con los periodistas que
I worked
escribían
with the
para los
media in
periódicos.
Cuba,
Y eso es lo que a mí me gusta, la política.
and that's what I like, the
Adoro
politics.
Mr. Trump,
I adore Mr. Trump.
and I told him, you are my president now. You are my president tomorrow and forever. La calle de Trump está muy merecido, Mr. Bobo, lo que están haciendo.
The street naming for
Hay
Trump
que
is
poner-
very,
Yes, Palm Avenue, President Donald J. Trump. Avenue. All the way through. I adore
Okay.
my president.
Thank you so much.
And I adore all of you.
Muy lindo, gracias.
God bless you. God bless you.
Okay. We're at 4 pro and 1 against.
May I?
Yes, you may.
My name is Anais Acuña, Councilwoman District 10. And American Missile Crisis Veterans Association, and congratulations, veterans. And first of all, and we're in order. I want to congratulate
Yes.
all of you for a great meeting that you are holding, and
Thank you.
this is.
If I may,
Yes.
your address for the record, I apologize.
11780 Southwest 32nd Terrace, and also taking care of a very good friend, a brigadier, in Coral Gables. So for right now, it is where I stand, District 10. Very proud of being a councilwoman there, and we hold a great meeting over there. But I got to say, I congratulate every single one of you here. You put in a lot of hours, and I've heard about it. I want to congratulate, I know what I'm here for, but I want to congratulate our brigade 2506. Stand up. He's a paratrooper. He fell down.
Wow.
But he went to Cuba for that precisely that our President Donald J. Trump stands for: against tyranny, terrorism, the communist Castro Diaz now. So I'm very proud of everybody here who stands for democracy, for freedom, loving, and also for this vet, Julio Ignacio Castro, who is the American Missile Crisis Veterans Secretary, sort of president too, and I belong to it too. But I'm very proud of every single one of our men in blue also, and Esteban Bobo. I know you, Esteban Bobo. I love you. Your wife knows me, so the thing is that I'm very, very. We fought a good fight, and the campaign did its job, got you in, and we need you. I highly congratulate you for that marvelous idea that you had. We were in the rally, and our President Donald Trump signed the what's going to become an avenue named after him. I think, no, I'm sure, and I know President Donald J. Trump has stood for everything that we have been holding dear to us, our democracy and our freedom. This man has fought and is continuing to fight everything that he has said and will die doing. I believe that, number one, he's already won. He's our president. Nobody can go against him. Okay, and I know so. And after Donald J. Trump, I hope that we have a bit of a reprieve, because we are in Third World War, something that we never wanted. But Biden did his own. And that's what we need to eliminate, the swamp. And that's all that I want to say. Thank you, Mr. Bobo, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi. Sorry, ladies first. And hi, Elia, we still have men and ladies. Hi, my name is Maria Gonzalez, 1755 West 72nd Street. I have a couple of things. First of all, this whole thing about wanting to be heard, I have an issue with you because you actually have blocked me from your Instagram and deleted my comments. So it's very ironic that you ask for clarity and you want everybody to listen, and you have personally blocked me. I have called your office, left messages, and you haven't called me back. Okay. What I just said. Call. I addressed him and I looked at him and I said, he's the one asking for all this clarity and everybody to be open, and he's not. And I'm not the only one that he's done this to. So I just want everybody, I want that on the record. And I have my proof of everything that I'm saying. So it's very funny that you want that and you don't give it. And anytime anybody, and I'm not even being disrespectful, and you've deleted my comments. That's why his 3 comments are all favor, because he deletes all the negative ones. I could do that. Anyway, so that was one thing I wanted to say. Second of all, I want to thank Councilwoman Monica Perez for your service and everything that you've done. All the ideas that we have brought to you, you make them happen. So I want to thank you for that. I want to congratulate the new leadership, both of you. Thank you. I have also want to thank Mayor Bobo for keeping your word. And like the other lady said, you know, having the, can't say that word, having the gumption to stick to your guns and what you feel is right for Hialeah and what the Hialeah people really want. I married into Hialeah. I've been here for about 20-something years, and I love Hialeah. The people have embraced me. I love everything about this city. And when Trump came down that step, that escalator, it made me want to get involved. And you don't have to wait to be a council person to be involved. I try to do everything that I can on the level that I am as a person. I think I had told Councilwoman Pacheco, congratulations, by the way, that you didn't have to wait to be a councilwoman to do anything. You could have come here before and do everything that we do. Even, you know, Santana, he comes here and he puts his ideas forth and they listen to us. So, but we spoke about that, remember? We spoke about that. So we can all agree to disagree. And let me see. Oh, the last thing, you know, thank you so much for all you do for veterans and for keeping them, you know, where they should be. And everything that, let me see. Oh my gosh, I blocked my phone. Well, thank you so much. And of course, I'm in favor of Donald J. Trump Avenue in Hialeah. Want to be the first one in Dade County to have that street named after somebody that deserves it so much. Thank you for everything.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening. My name's Elmer Melendez. My address is 1221 West 32nd Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33012. And as the other gentleman has spoken, you already know that what I want, yes. But what I really didn't like is the attack, especially on the chief. No, that doesn't go with me. Why? Because this chief has done an amazing work in Hialeah. I have a son that has autism, and when that little sticker that has the autism, man, my son is my life, and I'm not gonna stand with no attacks. I love the Blues. I have family members in Hialeah, department, SWAT as well, friends, and what you have done, I applaud you. Every time I see you, I always salute you. I thank you. I shake your hand because what you have done is amazing. So I'm not going to stand with anybody attacking you because you protect my city. Been here since '86. When my mom made a very hard decision to leave me at the age of 2, not because she wanted to leave me, it was that she wanted to give me a better life. She left me with my aunt. She came to this country. So in '86, when I came here, I landed in this beautiful city of Hialeah on 12th and 32nd next to Sarusi, that apartment building on the first floor. I will never forget. And we have accomplished so much in our family. We own many properties. We invest in our city that loves us, that has given us back. And my house has an American flag, so you can see my house. And you already got my address. And congratulations to everybody here. And Mayor, you are the bomb. You are the bomb. You reposted my son wearing all his Trump gear and everything. You are amazing. Monica, amazing. Everybody, thank you for everything. And I do want this sign in my city because Trump has put Hialeah not on the map in the world. Hialeah has been known all over the world. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Juan Santana, 5601 West 10th Avenue. Congratulations again. It was a very heartwarming moment to be there with you, to see your victory. Me and my wife, we spoke about it that night and the night before. Your perseverance, believe it or not, it's going to be inscribed in the history of Hialeah to never give up. And you did great. And you're going to do great things up there. All right? I know you have the best interest in the residents. Just remember what I told you before. Don't forget every single person that you knocked on their door, how to work with the administration to make these things fruition, you know? Mayor, the event was great. I saw a lot of wonderful people that I saw out there that I don't get to see very much, but you know, a lot of lovely faces, you know? And then people keep saying, Santana, Santana, I can say hello. Somebody asked me to come out there to do a protest with them regarding the park issue. I went out there. Chief, I love you, bro. I'm gonna keep saying it. You're doing an amazing job. An amazing job. And a couple police officers, they were a little sketchy at first because the Secret Service security people, they didn't want us there protesting. And thanks to Marbelli's email and your command staff, I salute all of them for upholding their constitutional rights to not violate mine or the people that were there that day. Chief, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. You're making everybody up here look great. Okay, I just wanted to tell you that, and I wanted to make it known. Okay, it's not hard for me because me and you, we go way back, but you know the history of me. So, but Mayor, it was great. You put Hialeah on the map. Congratulations, and it's awesome. At the end of the day, it was wonderful to see everybody come and flock to Hialeah with smiling faces. Hopefully that improves tourism here and gets people to move over here. And you know, but keep doing what you're doing. Hopefully we get to meet soon. I already talked to one of your assistants. Hopefully we get to meet in January to help you with an issue regarding parking in Hialeah. That way we can address it, you know, see the ideas that I have, because I studied traffic studies in high school, believe it or not. So to give you those things to kind of help you out, you know. Again, I only give information because I live here. All right. And I want the best for my city. And nothing. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. And keep doing at it, man. Don't, you know, keep you know, make sure we keep everything recorded. And good things, these meetings are recorded because you know, guys, please, let's cut the councilman some slack. And congratulations. You did great before, and I know you're gonna continue to do great more. I would like to be informed when you do your housing committee stuff. I would like to give you some information on that. I've been studying urban housing development for many years, and I can give you some input whenever you do decide to have your meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, right now I have 7 in favor.
Voy a hablar en español, me siento más cómoda.
Está bien.
I will speak in Spanish. I feel more comfortable.
Su número y
Olga Berrío.
Olga Berrío.
Sí, Berrío.
Berrío.
Sí.
Y su dirección.
Yo vivo en Kendall, pero mi dirección es 6237 Southwest 135 Avenida, Miami, Florida 33183.
Muchas gracias.
6237 Southwest 72nd Avenue, Miami, Florida
33183.
33183.
Estoy esta noche aquí. Buenas noches para todos.
I am here this
Para mí es
evening.
un placer estar
am-
aquí acompañándolos a ustedes, aunque no vivo ahora aquí en... Ok.
I am si lo puedes repetir, por favor.
Es un placer estar con todos ustedes esta noche,
It's a pleasure to be with all of you this night,
acompañándolos y apoyando la dirección que van a ponerle a nuestro expresidente Donald Trump.
supporting the street naming for the street naming for our President Donald Trump.
Aunque yo no vivo en Hialeah ahora, pero sí viví en los años 70.
Even though I don't live in Hialeah at the moment, I did live in Hialeah in the 70s.
Esta fue mi ciudad donde viven familiares y amigos,
This is the city where my family and friends live.
y siempre he apoyado
And I have always
la campaña, inclusive la campaña de el actual señor alcalde Bobo.
I have always supported the campaign, and I have always supported Mr. Bobo's campaign.
Esta noche quiero apoyar a todos ustedes
This evening, I want
para un honor para Hialeah
an
y
honor
para
to
todos
Hialeah,
y para todos nosotros, que ese nombre quede impregnado en la ciudad de Hialeah, la ciudad que prospera.
I would like to take this moment to, ¿lo puedes repetir la última parte, por favor?
La ciudad que prospera, Hialeah.
The city of progress for city of Hialeah.
En todo caso, les deseo suerte y que ojalá todos puedan apoyar que se ha puesto ese nombre,
I wish you
porque,
nothing but the luck.
porque yo también quiero mucho a nuestro futuro presidente,
I
donde,
also love very much our future president.
y yo tengo 55 años de estar en el país,
I have 55
y
years of
amo,
being in this country.
amo a los Estados Unidos de América
I love the United States of America.
y sé y estoy convencida
I
de
know
que
and I am
vamos a tener
convinced
un presidente el que estamos necesitando en estos momentos
that
a
we will
este
have a
grandioso
president that we
país.
need at this moment.
Así que un aplauso para nuestro presidente.
An applause for our president.
Gracias, buenas noches
Thank you. Have a good night.
y apoyemos este proyecto.
Let's support this project.
So right now we are 8 already that are pro the having our Donald J. Trump sign here in the city of Hialeah in favor of. I'm not sure if we have anyone else. Are you against the item?
No, I am not in for it.
Okay, we're limiting it to 8 since we have so many people today in council chambers. And if I have anybody that would like to speak out against the item, this is the moment to speak. Okay.
My name is Robert Gawanter, M&M Package Store, 794 Southeast A Street, Hialeah, Florida. I question exactly what we are commemorating here. It is impossible to distill a lifetime of crimes, of misdeeds into only 3 minutes from A to Z. So I'm going to limit my comments to one letter, the letter C. The letter C that was placed atop Trump apartment rental agreements indicating the applicants were colored and should be rejected. The C for casinos that went bankrupt and were charged with currency violations, money laundering. C for corruption, as in the FCPA, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Trump companies did business with nefarious entities all across the globe. In Azerbaijan, where they used money derived from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Collusion, another big C, was not a one-time political act. It was a lifelong business practice. The Mueller report did not say there was no collusion. It stated the Trump administration obstructed the investigation of the collusion. It was Trump's own attorney general who stated there was no conclusion, the same attorney general who now stands by the federal indictment against Trump and says Trump has limited verbal skills. C, for the perfect call from Trump to Zelensky, blackmailing Ukrainian president. C, for construction of the wall across the southern border, which is only 80 miles of wall, which are essentially worthless because they never poured concrete through the poles and they can be cut with an angle grinder, which they do. So those are worthless. C for China, where trade wars are easy, but it's the Americans paying the additional tariffs. Child cancer, the Trumps overcharged the child cancer events. What's worse than ripping off child cancer than is cutting off your own grandnephew because you have a problem with his sister, Mary Trump. C for contest, as in beauty contests, where Trump felt free to walk into dressing rooms. C for college, as in Trump University, ripping off innocent folk, investing their life savings. Trump not only paid someone to take his own SAT test, President William Kelly of Wharton described Donald Trump as the goddamn dumbest student he ever had. C for collapse, as the economy completely collapsed. Look how low gas prices were under Trump. Yes, because the entire economy collapsed, industry stopped, no one was driving cars, demand dropped so low that the price of oil was underwater. COVID and contagious. Trump told Bob Woodward he knew COVID was deadly stuff, but he wanted to play it down. And what was Trump's
Order.
cure?
Let him speak.
Clorox,
Let him speak.
No heckling. No
Clorox,
heckling.
and a blight up your butt. Choices. Only the best people. Trump only picked the most corrupt kleptocrats, holding the record for most indicted and convicted administration officials. Classified. The intelligence
Let him
community.
speak. Let him speak. Let him speak. Ladies and gentlemen, he has 10 seconds.
A young lady previously spoke about supporting Israel. Well, Trump gave away Israeli secrets in the White House. Okay, C.
Okay,
Con-
now your time is up. I apologize.
Okay, thank you very
May-
much.
Thank you. All right. So now we have, hi, good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask respectfully, we each share our own views. Let people speak, please. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Fernie Quapel. I live at 3760 East Sixth Avenue, Hialeah. So I am the chair of the Historic Preservation Board. We went ahead a year ago and we voted on this, and we decided to not recommend the street naming to City Council. I'm here as a champion of Hialeah through my organization, Hialeah Kicks Ass, and as a recipient of a 2007 proclamation that Steve was there and was there for the celebration. I'm not here to oppose that. We already voted. We decided not to recommend it. You guys are going with it. That's your choice, your decision. However, I do have to say that I'm extremely excited because as part of the Historic Preservation Board, I love history. I love people being involved in civics. I love that there's this many people here for civic engagement. The historic board meetings are usually very slow and quiet, and this is awesome. This is great. So I'm always very excited about things like that going on. But tonight I'd like to take advantage, and as part of our public conversation, I'd like to submit an application for street naming today for someone who definitely meets all of the criteria for our street naming designations. He exceeded in directly helping the citizens of our community, businesses, tax revenue, all for the citizens of Hialeah. He made Hialeah the #1 top zip code, not in the state, but in the country. The #1 zip code for enrollment in the ACA, giving Hialeans, 52,000 Hialeans were able to get healthcare because of this man's work. So tonight, and the mayor has had several ribbon cutting ceremonies for some of the businesses that have excelled because they accept the ACA healthcare. Doctors Medical Center, La Colonia, thank you. La Colonia, they have all excelled because of this man's work. So tonight, I don't know who I turn this into. Tonight, I would like to present a street naming designation on West 20th Avenue from 48th to 50th to Barack Obama. No. Do this. I think that he meets all of the criteria and everything, and our city has definitely benefited. Health has been our citizens have received health benefits because of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Through
All
the
right.
chair, through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Thank you.
All right. Should have given you this meeting. This is a rowdy crowd I'm having to deal with tonight. All right. Okay. So, all right. I think that concludes. I think I see one more person online. If you could unmute Mr. Eric Johnson. I think he wanted to speak. He's on Zoom.
Hi. Eric Johnson, Hialeah Firefighters, Local 1102.
Yeah. Give me just 1 second. We can't hear you yet in chambers. Can you say your
Testing.
name one?
Eric Johnson, Hialeah Firefighters. Testing, testing, testing.
We hear him really low, unless you have to turn up the speaker.
My speakers are maxed out and my microphone is maxed out.
Not you.
Oh, sorry. And I'm loud.
Able, he has to be within the range of your hearing to
Maybe you could call.
really address the council.
They're fixing it.
I mean, he can't be inaudible, but
I mean, I could hear him, but very faintly.
Can you hear me now?
Can you put the microphone next to the speaker of the computer?
I'm staring at the microphone.
Now we hear you better.
Okay. Eric Johnson, Hialeah Firefighters, Local 1102. First and foremost, our condolences to Brandy and her family. She has not only had 27 years of dedicated service to the city, but her family has as well. May God bless our 4509, our communications manager, and her family. And we've had some problems and issues with dispatch, but let me tell you, that woman everything was right with dispatch. She loved it. She loved the people. She loved the city, and she wanted to make it work. May God rest her soul. We'll meet again soon. Second thing, congratulations to new council president, Jesus Tundador. Monica, thank you so much for your service. You have been amazing. You have been exemplary. Even before you were elected, you were truly a public servant. And those pain in the butts like me, we notice, we see it. Congratulations to Jackie also, another round of VP. Congratulations to our newest councilwoman, Angela Pacheco. Hard-fought campaign. You worked your butt off. Congratulations. It was noticed. And at the same time, let's give a thank you to Vivian, who had probably over 16 years of public service moving the city forward. She did a very good job, and she should be recognized for it. The last thing I want to say is, Council, we just heard a diatribe of the lack of effort or the lack of work of our police officers. So our police officers in this city, they probably do more in the first 2 hours than all the other departments do in probably 8 to 10 hours. Yep, we're overworked. Yep, we're underpaid. But let me tell you something. We got the best of the best of the best. And I'll put our cops and I'll put our firefighters up against anyone, anytime, anywhere. And you know what? This is time to recognize it, Chief, because George Fuentes, you've done a damn good job. And I'm a critic. I know what it's like to criticize. You have done a hell of a job. Between the mayor, the administration, our new staff, and this council, we're seeing the changes that we put forward. But do not insult this police department or our workers doing the best we can with what we have. And that goes for anybody out in the audience or anybody on Zoom land. We bust our ass in the city to move it forward. And we do a damn good job for what we have and what we're given. We are the best of the best. And nobody will ever deny that. Nobody will ever deny it. We risk our lives on a daily basis. But to compare us to a grocery store worker, ma'am, they don't carry guns and they don't run into burning buildings. We do. We'll be speaking about item 13A. Keep up the great work. And to our police department, the last thing you ever deserve is to be insulted and told you're lazy and told you don't do anything. We got your back. Thank you.
All right. We're moving on now to board appointments. Madam Clerk, can you please read Resolution A?
Proposed resolution appointing Maria Rodriguez to the Board of Commissioners of Hialeah Housing Authority of the City of Hialeah, Florida for a 4-year term ending on November 13th, 2027.
Madam President, if I could ask Maria, please rise. And if I could encourage all of you to support, she will be serving on our Housing Authority Board, a 4-year term. She's a resident and she's already doing the job whether she likes it or not. So
Wonderful.
if we can support her, please.
Motion. Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Zogby and I have a second by Councilmember Tundidor.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tunidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. We're moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have any council members that would like to pull an item?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
EE.
EE. Got it. Next, anybody else?
Madam Clerk. Through the chair.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
Double A and Q.
Double A and Q.
Yeah, that's right. It's not in order. Madam.
Yes, sir, you're recognized.
And JJ, please. Double J.
Double J.
Sorry, one more in J.
Give me just 1 second. Hold on.
Just teach me.
And double J. All right. Yeah, I want to pull double H if it hasn't been pulled yet. And sir,
J.
item J. Okay. All right, so I have J, Q, double A, double E, double J, double H. Do I have any other items? Do I have a motion?
Ma'am, who pulled item EE?
I believe it was Councilman Calvo. No,
No.
I'm sorry, Councilman Tundidor.
Double E.
Double E. All right. What?
We need a motion and a second.
Do I have a
Second.
motion? I have a motion by Councilman Rodriguez and I have a second by Councilman Tundidor. Can we please call the roll?
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Tunidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Motion carries. The consent agenda has passed except items double H, double A, Q, double J, J, and double E.
I'm getting some messages that the Zoom isn't working, that people can't hear us from home. I don't know what happened with the audio. All right. Item J.
Proposed resolution approving a piggyback contract by Clay County with Moscow Sports Lighting LLC for LED sports lighting systems at Babcock Park and Bucky Dam Park, and authorizing the mayor, his designee, and the city clerk as a testing witness on behalf of the city to issue a purchase order to Moscow Sports Lighting LLC in an amount not to exceed $2,041,335.
Just wanted to bring to the attention that for the 2 years we were knocking on doors.
If I could please have council chamber quiet. Is your microphone on?
Yes, I'm on. I just want to say to the council, I'm so excited seeing this, Michael, and thank you. Appreciate this. This was a very loud voice of our residents that wanted to see some lighting in our parks. I know you've done a lot of work. We all done a lot of work participating as a team. And then just to see this for the first time, I'm so excited. Hopefully next year we're gonna do all the parks. But my question to you, is this gonna be done the same moment, just one shot both parks, or that's just?
They'll likely start at a park that we choose. We're gonna probably start at Bucky Dent and then have them move over to Babcock.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So just wanted to say in front of the council, thank you. We're definitely moving very fast on the parks. You said it. Thank you for the plan. And I mean, this was a very loud voice. I mean, you guys heard it too, the parks.
Thank you.
So thank you. Appreciate that. That's it. Motion, second.
I have a motion by Councilman Rodriguez and I have a second by Councilman Tundidor. Can we please call the roll?
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Item Q, please.
Proposed resolution approving a piggyback contract by the city of Fulshear, Texas and Inframark, authorizing the mayor or his designee and the city clerk as a testing witness on behalf of the city to issue a purchase order to Inframark in the amount not to exceed $248,252 for the purchase of fire hydrant repair, maintenance, and replacement, and in substantial conformity with the agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A until September 30th, 2024.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir, you
Is,
recognize?
Director here. Director. Obviously, so this is the fire hydrant repair that we've talked about on numerous occasions. I just had a couple brief questions. I did notice I was copied. I don't know if the rest of the members of the council were also copied on a series of back and forth emails. I guess that was the old company, or maybe you can clarify if it's the same company, but I guess there was some issues with paying some invoices. I just wanted to see if you could clarify what the situation is with some of these invoices for the work that is being performed.
So you're referring. I
Remember,
think
please,
name
sir,
and
if you
address.
can please say your name and address for the record, I appreciate
My
it.
address. Kevin
We work.
Linsky, Public Works Department. So I'm assuming you were referring to a company called R&M, which is one of about 6 companies that has worked on hydrants. They were part of the original study that the council commissioned last fall. And they went through the city and determined which hydrants were in good shape and which were in poor shape. We subsequently produced a work order for them to fix some of the broken hydrants right after the study was ended. They didn't perform well because they're out of town. And when the ISO comes into a region, this is an agency that comes in and looks at hydrant systems, among other things. This company had so much work in so many cities that they couldn't perform for us. So we ended up going with a company called Jormac, which is more local. And you've passed 2 items for them and they've done very well. So R&M has billed a total of, I think, $48,000. They've been paid $10,000 to date. $38,000 we're still reviewing because they had an inordinate ratio of mobilization costs to fixing costs. That's one of the reasons we just discontinued the contract. So we have that under review by our head of operations and someone in my office who does contracts.
Understood. So you're saying that the delays with the company that we're in the dispute is the delay was that they weren't doing the work fast enough? Is that my understanding?
They had to come in from out of town. I think they were up towards just above West Palm Beach.
Okay.
They wouldn't come in every week. They knew the time sensitivity of what the city's requirements were because we had an ISO inspection coming up in the fall. And they announced sometime in late July or early August that they would not be coming back for 3 or 4 weeks. And that's about the time we went with another company.
Right. And this company now that we're considering today, Inframark.
Inframark, yeah.
Yeah. Are they local or are they also coming from somewhere else?
They're so for the last 10 years, they have been the primary provider of services for all of our pump stations. We have about 100 pump stations in the city, and they do 100% of maintenance on those stations. They came to see us when we were reaching out to see who else could do work in the world of hydrants. We found out that this same company did work in Texas and Georgia on hydrants. So they came and visited us. We negotiated a price, and they and that's one of the contracts that you see before you today.
Right. And so the work has Inframark conducted any repair work at this point, or it'll be after this approval?
So to this date, they have done flow testing. They flow tested about 350 hydrants so far. They took up where R&M stopped.
Okay.
They have not done any repairs. So under this contract, if you're running the system appropriately, you go through your entire system of hydrants once every 5 years.
Right.
So 20% of it. That's what the requirements are from the ISO. So they would only begin that work subsequent to a contract.
Right. And so where are we on track in terms of general repair? We shared some numbers last time. What's the progress?
Yeah, we have some updates for you. So in terms of testing hydrants within the system, we're at the 96% mark. We're down to the last, I think, 150 hydrants that haven't been tested. So we're in very good shape in that. Of the 96% that had been tested, we were finding a fail rate of about 15%, which resulted in a total of just under 500 hydrants that were considered out of service. I have a number here of 493. Of the 493 that have identified to have been not working or missing, some of them were actually missing, but not too many. We've repaired 385 and we have 108 to go. So whereas we had 15% of our hydrants out of service in July, we're down to 3%, which at this point, we're almost chasing our tail. I mean, we're always going to have 1 or 2% out. That's why we have a maintenance company. So we're in pretty good shape.
Is the city employing any methods to double check some of the work that's been performed? Obviously, if there was issues, that would be my concern on that 85% that, passed, if you will.
So on the 85% that passed the flow test, we don't have a reason to believe that they need to be retested other than the normal ISO schedule. For those hydrants that have been repaired, we're going to end up reflow testing 100%. So Inframark, the company that we are proposing come on board today, is going to go back under this contract, and any hydrant that has been repaired, they will end up reflow testing.
Okay. So just to clarify, what's the name of the first company, the ones that we have the issues with?
R&M.
R&M?
Maybe it's just RM. Maybe there's no N in the RM.
Okay. So this company RM that we've had the issues with, just to understand correctly, we are not double checking their work on the 85% of hydrants that they say were operational.
We are not, no.
Okay. And there's no like random testing. I mean, I'm not saying we got to check every single one, but maybe a sample. Hey, these guys did what we're paying them to do. Because obviously we're having issues with them.
Yes, so we did send out field personnel with them when they did repairs to make sure that the repairs were done well. And we are going back on 100% of the repairs that were done to check those repairs. And the testing itself, we're now just going into the normal, we're going to test 20% of the system every year now. Okay. So this particular year, we're going to test all the hydrants that were fixed, which are the most important ones. But we haven't, I guess that's the answer.
And then the company that will do that ongoing testing will be Inframark?
Inframark, yes.
Inframark, okay. And I did notice that the hydrants that are being replaced, they're yellow. I'm guessing when they get retested, they'll be repainted the red and the white.
We're not going to, unless someone wants to change the colors in the future, we're putting them to the way they've been for the last half century. Which at some point, if the city wants to elect to change the colors, that's
so what I'm saying is, because they're yellow now, we're gonna go and paint them like the hydrants that have been now put as yellow.
They will go to the normal formatting of red and white.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I for purposes of expediency, I'm not going to show the pictures that I have, but I'm happy to share them with you afterwards. I did notice that some of the sites where there were repairs done, some of the work looked a little sloppy. I think a lot of the asphalt just didn't look right. There was some concerns there of some of them had landscaping issues, what have you. Is the city going to be going back I understand that we're going to be checking the hydrants, but are we going to be going back and sort of in an aesthetic or risk sort of nature going to be looking at these work products that we're paying for?
I think that'll be probably done on a spot basis. What we do is when the company, in this case will be Infomark, before it was R&M, when they note the condition of a hydrant, so when they go back and test it, they produce a rather large spreadsheet of information. And I think one of the columns is a comment column. If there's additional work that'll be needed, hopefully it'll be captured in that database and it will become part of the future workflow.
Okay, so my understanding is if they don't put it in there, then we're not going to proactively just kind of check to see, like, especially those where the asphalt is kind of just, it doesn't make sense. It looks off. Some of them are like it almost looks like a hole, like a pothole that was created with the new asphalt. Make myself understood a little bit better. So that was just my concern, that if we're paying all this money, and it is a lot of money that we are paying, that the work is just done as best as possible and it looks presentable.
Yeah, I would say that the priority was making sure that the flow tests went well.
Okay.
And there's every indication, because the ISO testing has begun, that things are going well so far for us.
Okay.
For the hydrants.
Yeah, I just think, give it some thought. I think something that might be fruitful is if we're having issues, maybe do some random sample testing, just double checking that everything that we're doing, because if not, we're gonna have to wait another year. And we want to make sure that we're covered on a liability perspective, and certainly for the resident safety. But that's all for me. My motion, unless there's any other comments.
I have a motion by Councilmember Calvo. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Zogby. Can we please call the roll?
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Item AA, please.
Proposed resolution approving a piggyback contract by the city of Hialeah for the city street sweeping services and authorizing the mayor, his designee, and the city clerk as a testing witness on behalf of the city to issue a purchase order to Sweeping Corporation of America, doing business in Florida as USA Services of Florida LLC, the supplier, in the total amount not to exceed $209,383.02 for the purchase of 1 year of street sweeping services throughout the city and in substantial conformity with the agreement attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Well, look, first of all, I'm happy to see that we're gonna get back to the street sweeping. I mean, I think it's a top concern for residents. Just I mean, you get a lot more people, and the streets are kind of hurting, and we see what the streets are looking like around town. My concern, or if you can just kind of walk me through, why we went through the option of contracting this out versus doing it ourselves. Just in terms of due diligence on my part.
Good evening, Jose Sanchez, Director of Streets, 900 East 56th Street. We went with this route. I mean, we own one and we constantly are out there sweeping at night. But as you could see in Exhibit A, we have about 400 and something miles that we need to do. We like to do it on a monthly basis. That's, one sweeper is not enough. The cost of the sweeper, it's somewhere between $300,000 to $500,000, depending how you equip it. So considering the financials, it's more beneficial to sub it out, because it's not only the sweeper cost, the initial cost, but it's also, you need to hire an operator, and that's a continuing cost moving forward. At this time, the best option for the city would be to sub it out.
Did we calculate what our internal cost is on a per mile basis for sweeping, taking into account what you're saying, the initial purchase price of the sweeper, the employee hourly benefits, et cetera? Do we have like a rough number?
No, but we could get that for you.
Because I noticed in their this company, what's the name of the company? Florida, is USA Services of Florida LLC. They have a per curb mile cost of $35.25. So obviously, if our cost is higher, then I would certainly agree with you. And if our cost is comparable or lower, then maybe it's a different analysis. Because it is, $200,000. So I was just curious if there was a way that we can compare that.
Well, just to start off, the cost, like I mentioned, of a new sweeper would be somewhere in the neighborhood between $300,000 to $500,000.
Right.
That's already exceeds the amount of this this service for 1 year.
Right, but we'll have to
It's-
do it ongoing, right? I mean,
Yeah, and it'll be an employee cost as well, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 or so a year, plus maintenance costs on the equipment, changing the brooms, which is an ongoing thing that wears on that equipment. So the cost is high and is a lot of ground to cover. We probably can't do it with just one other sweeper. We'll probably have to purchase multiple sweepers.
how much do we do now? Because part of my ignorance, I didn't even know we had an ongoing sweeping.
Yeah, it's
How
done
much are
in
we
the
doing now?
evenings.
What's that?
It's done in the evenings and
Okay.
the evening hours.
And would you say it's like a set route every time, or it changes in different parts of the city?
No,
I mean,
it's
our
main
current-
roads. We don't do all the roads, mostly the main ones. It's probably a fifth of the mileage that you see here, where we have 453. This is gonna be all the curb roads within the city.
Okay.
So we probably do about a fifth of that. I don't have the exact number, but.
And so the one that we have now, what are we doing with it? Or what are we doing with that employee?
We're gonna continue to do, the roads that require a little bit more than once, because this contract is for one service every month, every single road that's curbed. So our idea,
Once a month they come in, or they stagger it and do different areas so that every road gets cleaned once a month?
every road is gonna get cleaned once a month,
Okay.
all the curb roads within the city. And then we're gonna reserve ours for the higher traffic areas, the ones that need it the most, and it's gonna supplement this service.
Okay, understood. All right, well, obviously this item's before us today, but if you can get us those numbers, that'd be great. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Yes, Councilman?
This is funny. I don't know what's going on for the past 2 weeks. Every time I make a right in the morning, I'm going, what's going on with the traffic? It was a sweeper, bro. So I will get mad. What's that Pullman in 49th Street? So thank you. Actually, I feel very good seeing sweepers in my city. So
Yeah.
thank you. Motion.
So I have a motion by Councilman Calvo and I have a second by Councilman Rodriguez. Can we please call the roll?
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robles.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez. Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you. Item double H. Double H. Oh, double E, double E, double E. Sorry, I was getting excited. Double E.
Proposed resolution establishing an affordable housing task force that will provide comprehensive research and planning that will address the challenges and opportunities related to affordable housing within the city and report their findings, data, and recommendations to the mayor, stating the task force purpose, powers, duties, composition, and membership appointment, providing for a chair, meetings, quorum, and public notice requirements, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution, again, it addresses a very big concern that we're experiencing not only in the city of Hialeah, but throughout Miami-Dade County and quite frankly throughout the country. And it's affordable housing, right? And so more development. We've seen that strategic development has been a huge benefit for the city of Hialeah and for other places, right? Especially if you focus on development near mass transit. Right? You create a community around public transit, around mass transit, and you reduce the dependency on private vehicles, right? So therefore it helps with traffic. But we've seen that for the most part in the city of Hialeah, new development hasn't always been very beneficial or even affordable for the folks that live here, right? And so the idea of putting together this task force with the administration was to figure out how we can gather industry experts, okay? Folks that have been involved with affordable housing, whether it's on the private side or on the public side, and come up with options that can develop an affordable housing program for the city of Hialeah. Now, what that looks like, again, the idea is to be able to have these conversations with this task force to be able to come up with recommendations for the administration to review, and then finally to have the city council consider any of these recommendations. So I ask for everyone's support, and I motion.
Through the chair.
So I have a motion on the table by Councilman Tundidor. Yes, sir. You're recognized.
Thank you. Mayor, I applaud the co-sponsoring of this resolution as well as to Councilmember Tundidor, of course. At the beginning of the year, Mayor, I think I spoke to you and to the rest of the council in one of our meetings that, one of the sort of mitigating circumstances in terms of Hialeah, obviously, is we've had a large influx of immigration. I think you've spoken at length about that issue. And I asked back then in early January if we could create some sort of task force as well for maybe tackling some of the issues and related to the increased immigration in Hialeah. Among them, obviously, is a little bit of the housing situation. And I think at that moment, I think some of the colleagues shared that, homelessness is obviously increased in Hialeah, whether not necessarily our fault or anything like that, but it is just product of the consequences of having so many more people. I think I also shared, right by my house, I see people every day sleeping in their cars at the Lowe's parking lot, the Target parking lot near to my house, and even in the mall. West End Mall is full at night. You'll see vehicles with the lights on. You can tell, somebody's kind of sleeping in there. And so those are grave concerns. I, again, applaud Councilmember Tundidor for tackling the angle of the affordable housing. I do think we need something maybe on another sort of coming at it from another direction, which is how are we going to be engaging some of our nonprofit entities, churches, and other community partners that can tackle some of the issues related to immigration that are affecting our city. Part of it is city cleanliness, as we just spoke about with the street cleanings. So as we're considering this today, I again reiterate my desire to set up that task force or whatever we want to call it. I don't think the name is important, but I do think the work needs to be done regardless. Obviously, we could do it without a title. That's also true, but there's something to be said about the city kind of doing it proactively. So I again would ask for that. And I do think this is a great proposal. I think emotion, so I'm happy to second.
Okay, I have a second by Councilman Calvo.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tundidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Thank you.
It's coming.
Item HH.
Proposed resolution designating Palm Avenue as President Donald J. Trump Avenue in recognition of the 45th President of the United States of America, with the cost of signage to be paid by the city and providing for an effective date.
I'd like to motion, just to put it out there. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Through the chair.
Yes, Mayor, go ahead, you're recognized. And then I'll defer to you, Councilman. Go ahead.
First, let me state that the city of Hialeah is an American city. When there's a conversation about naming something here in our city, we always need to keep in mind that this is an American city, first and foremost. Now, we may be a little different than other American cities, but we are an American city. In 2016, we saw a man become president of the United States on a very simple yet genius platform, making America great again.
Amen.
That now very simplistic, because all he said was to put America first. And I would remind all of us here in the audience, those that may be against it, those are kind of having difficulty with this. What did that mean? That mean, first and foremost, he talked about border security. And he talked loudly about building a wall. And how ironic is it now that the current president of the United States is talking about building that exact same wall, after Democrats ran so much interference and wouldn't let him build a wall. This is a president who talked about banning flights to and from terrorist nations. And the response to that president was take him to court, find the most liberal judges in Hawaii or in Oregon or in California that you could possibly find, and impede his ability. He was trying to keep us safe. And how ironic that we see across the capitals of this country, the anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas demonstrations by folks that came to this country not wanting to be American. Now, I heard the comment earlier that's almost laughable to think that Donald Trump somehow or another in cahoots with I have no idea who to help Republicans against Democrats stood by or somehow or another authorized some sort of massacre of Jews in Israel is just comical. But you know what? This is exactly what this president has been dealing with, not just for the 4 years that he was president, but afterwards. This is a president, and I'm so sorry that the M&M person left. I don't even know his name. I know that he puts up a lot of signs up on his storefront, but it's almost laughable again to talk about what happened in Ukraine when we saw Joe Biden do far more treacherous things that could damage this country. And Lord knows everything that's going on with his son. But I digress. We had a president that made America first. And a president that was not allowed to work. From day one, they came up with a Russian hoax, a lie, a flat out lie to question his legitimacy. How ironic that if he questions the legitimacy of an election, he gets indicted. It's almost laughable, but we've all seen it as Americans. In fact, what we're seeing is something that is unprecedented in the annals of the United States. To see a person who put America first, didn't take a dime while he's president, didn't take a dime, work for free, and yet he shook the foundation of the swamp to a level that it became eye-opening. Eye-opening in many cases. We saw Democrats and some Republicans and institutions so entrenched in the trough that all of us pay for, but the swamp creatures weren't going to go quietly. Who knew that they had a media that was aiding and abetting the entire time? And yet this guy, this gentleman, has continued to push forward. Now, many have asked, well, why Hialeah? And to me, I think it's very simple. In 2016, Donald Trump came to this community, Miami-Dade County in that case, and went to La Casa La Brigada. And he met with the brigade members. And he made a commitment to them that he was going to reverse the treacherous Obama policies toward Cuba. Let me remind you all, and again, I'm sorry that the ponytail guy left. No, Robert, no, el otro,
Fernie.
Fernie. I'm sorry that Fernie left, you know, because for him to even hint at trying to name something in this city after Obama is just a total joke. I want to remind everybody that Barack Obama went and shook the hands of the devil when he went down to Cuba. I want to remind everybody that's Cuban American that might be in this city, that might be in this county, that Barack Obama went to Cuba to watch a baseball game. He didn't meet with dissidents. He went to make maybe Cuba great again, but not the United States. Donald Trump made a commitment to the Cuban American community that he was going to reverse that policy. And how refreshing it is to see an elected official do exactly what he said he was going to do. And that's what Donald Trump did for 4 years. We saw Donald Trump afterwards get indicted for frivolous things, energized partisan prosecutors going after Donald Trump over nothing. And that's what we've seen in this country. Now, I got a 13-year-old, and I'm extremely concerned about what's going on in our nation. extremely concerned. And we're about to go the route of Europe if we, as Americans, don't stop it. Because London is lost, Berlin is lost, Paris is lost. And the question is New York, Chicago, and LA, are they lost also? Because if that's happening, it's happening under our watch. Now, I would tell you, as mayor, I would tell you as an American citizen, and I would tell you as a person who loves democracy, despite everything that they've thrown at him, despite every accusation, he has put the American public first. And for that, my colleagues, I would ask you to enthusiastically support the renaming or the naming of Palm Avenue to Donald J. Trump Avenue. And one last thing, for those that are nostalgic, it does not, we never lose the name Palm Avenue. If you all want to refer to Palm Avenue, you could do it historically. Okay? The address here will be 501 Palm Avenue, as long as you want, or 501 Trump Avenue, if you prefer. Okay? So with that, Madam President, I would encourage all of you to support this effort. And this is something that the public in the city of Hialeah wants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Through the chair.
I believe Councilman Cabo had asked, and then I could recognize you.
Mayor, I think it's no secret that you and I don't see eye to eye on many things. However, my hat, I tip it off to you. This is a fantastic proposal. I'm a little biased because I had a tremendous honor, tremendous privilege, a kid from Hialeah. I don't know, we'll have to check the historic records, but probably one of the few kids from Hialeah that had the opportunity to work for Donald Trump while he was president in the White House during his administration in 2018. And I got to see firsthand some of the stuff that you just very eloquently stated, the tough work that needed to be done in this country, that was done in this country. I worked in what's called intergovernmental affairs. It's not sexy, doesn't sound great, but we had the goal and we had the task coming directly from the president to call up and connect with local leaders, council members like us, not from necessarily the most glamorous cities, some from the middle of nowhere. But when they heard on the other side of the phone that the White House was calling, that the Trump administration was calling, and they wanted to hear from them to see how their community could be benefited by the administration's policies. They thought it was a prank. They thought it was somebody just calling for no reason, that it was made up. And that is the kind of man and the kind of administration that President Trump led while he was in office. He was somebody that it didn't matter if he was a billionaire from New York, he still managed to go and speak to people of common working class, reaching out to communities that for a long time were totally ignored by the federal government, including Hialeah. I mean, I think, Trump did come here. He spoke at Bucky Dent Park, and there wasn't many presidents before him that had considered us as a town. President Trump also passed, and this is very key, historic tax reform in this country. He lowered taxes for working Americans so that more of their money would be in their pocket and not in the government's pocket. And, the president, hopefully our president, now again in 2024 next year, I think he's going to do a lot of great work that needs to be done. And it's going to affect us hopefully here in Hialeah. We'll be proud to say that we were one of the first to host his name up. And Mayor, I would like, however, to put el broche final de oro, on what you've done here today, which is magnificent. And I think by voting on it, we're all kind of saying it, but let's just say it. You, Mayor Bovo, myself, and any member of the council of course, a total public endorsement to President Trump next year in 2024, our next president of the United States of America.
Yeah. Yeah. We
And second,
we signed the endorsement already. We
Through the
sent that
chair.
out to him when he came here. Go ahead, sir. You're
Okay,
recognized.
well, he's got my endorsement,
Yeah.
right, Mayor?
He's got our
my
endorsement.
In writing.
does.
I just wanted to say something really brief. We're all fans here. We're all preaching to the choir. I'm glad the wonderful lady from the Jewish organization came back in. I'm born in Jersey of a Cuban mom, came in the early 50s to New Jersey, of a Lebanese American father who came in the 30s, a World War II US military veteran, a very proud Arab American, my father. And he died several years ago. He had me when he was already kind of mature. And I speak for him. We stand with Israel 100%. And we love Donald Trump. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank
Is there anyone else on the council who would like to speak?
Second.
Okay, so, I just wanted to clarify some things because I heard some shouting in the audience. And I don't want any veterans to think that we are taking off the name Veterans Way. Veterans Way is on beneath the sign that says Palm Avenue, and that will stay there. But I think the person that was shouting left, so I don't think she's able to hear me explain this. This street is a designation. It's a designation through Palm Avenue that goes through Hialeah. Palm Avenue obviously goes through other surrounding cities. I'm very proud to see that we have some other surrounding members. I think we have somebody here from Sunny Isles, one of the commissioners from Sunny Isles, Fabiola. Thank you for being here. We also have back here, my other friends from other cities. I think Miami Springs, right? And you are? Yes. So we have a few surrounding cities and towns that are here supporting us, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to make something clear. I know that there's a lot of people that have been saying, well, what has, the president done for Hialeah? And I think that the mayor expressed it so well, and said how this affects our community, how this president directly impacted this community. But this isn't something that's, not done in other locations. We have Joe Biden Street, Joe Biden Way, Joe Biden Expressway in Pennsylvania. We have George Bush Bridge in Oklahoma and Texas. We have George W. Bush Street in Georgia. We have Barack Obama Avenue in Opelika, Florida, that the city commissioner approved and renamed. And it's there. So these streets of presidents are already in other locations in the city. Why can't Hialeah have also a president here that's recognized in our city? So I just wanted to express that. And I believe that I was gonna say that Donald Trump Square was in Israel, but she beat me to it. She said it when she came up to the microphone. We also have Donald J. Trump Justice Complex in Nevada. We have Trump Drive in Montana, President Donald J. Trump Highway in Oklahoma. And guess what? Hialeah is going to show up now on the Wikipedia page also. And we're going to get to be able to print it out. So I'm very happy to be able to have this sign up. Are you going to keep this one in your office, or is this the one that you're going to put up?
No, we're not putting that one.
Because if that signature's there, we better have PD standing by that sign, because someone's going to take it off. So I think that this sign, what we'll do is we'll put it outside. Mayor, is that okay? Once we pass this item, so whoever's here, if they want to take a photo, maybe we could put it, Mark, maybe we could put it in the conference room by the flag, so there's some space there and it could be a nice photo. And we could set it up there. I had a motion by Councilmember Tundidor.
Yep. Second.
And I had a second by Councilman Calvo. That concludes our discussion. Please call the roll.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zagri?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Oh, okay. All right. Perfect. That's done. So we could take a nice photo. Yeah. Let them, oh, yeah, we'll do it later. That's fine. Let them, Mark, once
Mark.
it dies down, bring it back before we leave and we'll take a picture with the
Mark.
mayor.
Mark, cuídalo, cuídalo.
No se lo lleven, pórtase bien. Okay, moving on. Thank you. Item JJ, please.
Request from Leonardo Gonzalez on behalf of Red Nose Entertainment Corporation located at 3619 Northwest 101 Street, Miami, Florida, for a special event permit to host a traditional circus show not to include animals in none of the 90-minute performances, as well as permission to install a red and white circus tent, with the event scheduled to take place from Friday, December 1st, 2023 through Sunday, January 7th, 2024 at the parking lot of Westland Mall located at 1675 West 49th Street, Hialeah, Florida, in accordance with the requirements of the Hialeah Fire Department, Police Department, and Risk Management Department.
Thank you. If we could take it outside down the hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
If we could take it outside, thank you. Huh? Come here. So we're on item JJ. Who pulled it?
Me. I did.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Item JJ, I wish everybody would have stayed because all I wanted to say is this is for Circus Lena. Circus Lena, they've been here a few years. You see them at Westland Mall parking lot, West 16th Avenue 49 in the entire month of December. It's that big, beautiful, old-fashioned circus tent, Circus Lena. They're wonderful people. They go back for generations to Cuba. Eddie Mena is here to advocate for them from the Knights of Columbus. Thank you, Eddie. But I can't say enough about Circus Lena. We really have to support them, and I encourage everybody, take your family, your children there. They put on a fantastic show there. So it's on 16th Avenue, 49th Street, the big tent, the big circus tent, all month of December. Circus Lena, they're wonderful people. They put on a wonderful show. We're honored to have them in Hialeah. Tell Leo, thank you. And I motion.
So I have a motion by Councilman Zogby. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Tundidor. Can we please call the roll?
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tunidor.
Yes.
Mr. Zogby.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
All right. Moving on to item 13A. Yeah, 13A, please.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance amending chapter 70 entitled Retirement and Pension, Article 4, Employees General Retirement System, Division 3 entitled Disability and Line of Duty Benefits, and Division 5 entitled Benefits, implementing the changes to the retirement system and disability benefits contained in the 2023 through 2026 collective bargaining agreement between the city and FOP for police officer members, in particular revising section 70-70 entitled Disability Benefits for firefighter members and members not included in any bargaining unit on and after September 12, 2023. Section 70-208 entitled Purchase of Membership Service Credit Time. Section 70-210 entitled Member Contributions to Retirement Plan, and Section 70-238 entitled Service Retirement Allowance, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties hereof, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an interpretation and savings clause, providing for severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. This item is on second reading and public hearing. Is there anyone in council chambers or online that would like to speak on behalf of this item?
I motion.
I have somebody here that would like to speak on the item. Go ahead, sir.
This one?
I'm sorry, I don't think the microphone is on. There we go.
Jose Aldi, 788 Southeast Park Drive. Yeah, I want to speak on behalf of the police department because I live right on the unit in Okeechobee. I spent a lot of time out of the country. My mom lives with me. She's celebrating 87 years on Friday. And whatever we could do, like we could do without Parks and Recreation for a year. We could do without licensing for a year. We could do without almost every department except police and fire. So whatever you could do, we do more. You know, I want to share that on Saturday, I called the police because something happened and a young officer responded, and then the sergeant, he made a mistake, the sergeant corrected him. And then afterwards, the police officer came up to me, he goes, man, they were African Americans, I have a camera, it's public, you know, I had to be careful. And the police department is like doing something really, really bad now, you know, like it's terrible. They got cameras on them, every little thing. You got Black Lives Matter protesting against them. So whatever we could do for police department, I'm a big advocate of them. I also want to advocate for, we need to be more on the offense where we need to start calling like the news media racist. Like for example, like you rarely see Opelika, Liberty City, Overtown with any crime, right? There's always Hialeah, right? Or City of Miami. Because we're white Hispanic neighborhoods, I think we should go on the offense and start calling them racist because we're Cuban, and that's why they always have us on television. And you're like, when do you ever see crime in Liberty City, Overtown on television? And they have a lot of crime. So I think that's, I want to share something with Jason Smith is the director of Equity and Inclusion. And I use the word racist on them, and they changed their policy in 14 hours. I wrote an ethics charge against Jason Smith yesterday at 6 p.m. Today at 10 a.m. He wrote this. I'm going to read this. This is like incredible. This rarely happens with counties. So this is how work going on the offense works. This is from Jason Smith, and he's referring to the mayor as Mayor Cava, not this county mayor. This is what Jason Smith wrote. And he had ghosted me for 3 months. I was on the Cultural Affairs Council with the great Bridget last year, and I knew they were ignoring us. We weren't getting grants. And Council President Monica, remember with those meetings we had? It was all talk. We got no money. It was all just talk. So this is like what happened. So here, this is from Jason Smith. He's the director of Equity and Inclusion. I came here when that department was first started. I wish we would take more advantage of this because we are minority. It's not like when you watch television, all the commercials are like black people, right? They really put Hispanics. That's because we got to go more on the offense. Because we have more, Hispanics are a higher percentage minority than African Americans. So yeah, definitely. So this is what a result. Hi, Jose. I hope all is well. He ghosted me for 3 months. And after I did the ethics complaint, he wrote this. Hi, Jose. I hope all is well. Following the mayor's direction, talking about Mayor Cava, the Office of Management and Budget has redesigned the upcoming community-based organization grant process to reflect equitable principles and current needs in the community. The new grant process will be released publicly soon, and it will soon be open to organization in Hialeah. I just want to talk real quick about equity is where the results
Your
have to
time is
come.
up.
Wait, real quick. Equity is the results, not equality is everybody gets a chance to apply for a grant. Equity is where everybody has to have equal. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So I think online, we have Eric Johnson that would like to speak on behalf of this item. If you could unmute him, please.
Hey guys, Eric Johnson, Hialeah Firefighters, Local 1102. Can you hear me this time?
Yes.
All right, cool. Listen, we stand and we rise in support of this resolution, this ordinance. Thank you so much. Congratulations and kudos to our PDs who have secured a historic contract in the city of Hialeah. It shows the administration is serious about making change. We have been a training ground for many, many, many years on the police side, on the fire department side. And the bottom line is everybody wants our employees. It's simple as that. We train them. They see more in the 2 hours than they do on a normal shift anywhere else. And other cities are blessed to get them. So we actually stand in support of this. We will remind the council and the mayor that hopefully we can make the pension changes that are needed for our members also on the fire side. I know you have committed to it. I just hope it selfishly happens sooner than later. Because we also have a lot of people in the process somewhere else, and I'd like to keep them here in their home. Hialeah is just not a place you work. It's a family. It's a home. And we got the best of the best. So help me find a way to keep them. Help me find a way to maintain them, and let's grow them into future leaders like most of us are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Juan Santana, 5601 West 10th Avenue. since I've been involved in the politics of Hialeah since 2013, one of the things that it's very important, at least to me, is to make sure we maintain our police department and our firefighters. I've always said this. The only ones that deserve pensions here in the city of Hialeah is the police officers and the firefighters. They're the ones that put their lives on the line every day to serve our community and the residents here. And I hope the administration, so far so good. I've been hearing that the administration's been doing something with them, but you know, at the same time, we need to take care of our firefighters too. You know, and I'm in the support of this. Okay, guys, thank you.
All right, moving on. Do we have a motion?
I had made the motion.
You have made a motion?
And a second.
I have a motion by Councilman Zaghi and I have a second by Councilman Rodriguez. Can we call the roll, please?
Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zaghi?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
Item 14A, please.
Report of Scrivener's error pursuant to section 30-31, agenda of city council meetings of the city of Hialeah Code. The city clerk has amended ordinance number 2023-112, which was passed and adopted by the city council on October 10th, 2023. The ordinance has been amended to reflect the entirety of the legal description and as described in the plat book of the public records of Miami-Dade County and certified by the surveyor's opinion. Exhibits A1, south half of Park Drive, and A2, north half of Park Drive, both containing the full description of the subject property, have been added to ordinance number 2023-112.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on this item?
You don't-
Oh, yeah. that's-
Madam, yeah,
this
you don't,
is- Yeah.
the scrivener's errors, actually, the clerk just needs to report it.
Yeah.
There's no need for a motion or a vote.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. Any new business?
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I alluded to it earlier. I would reiterate, the council to consider it at this time. I'm basically motioning for us to create, some sort of immigration task force, for the city of Hialeah. Eventually, in case anybody has any comments, obviously, I would welcome your input.
What, through the chair, are you asking for a motion to create one or?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
well,
Yeah.
I think there's some debate on the procedure, but if we can get a resolution drafted, I think that's the ultimate goal. And we can fully consider it at the next meeting and how many members it would compose and what have you.
Are you motioning?
Yeah, motion.
Is that, can we take, I second, I'm okay with, I'm good with the idea.
So I have a motion by Councilman Calvo
Through
to
the chair.
create an immigration task force. Yes.
Is it, yeah, just a question, I'm sorry, so, and the intent, Councilman, can you repeat that again? The intent of the.
What I said earlier, essentially to tackle the challenges and some of the symptoms in Hialeah related to immigration.
Okay.
So I have a motion by Councilman Calvo and I have a second by Councilman Zaghi.
Mr. Tumidor?
Yes.
Mr. Zaghi?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. So I guess you'll work with the attorneys
Yeah, I'll
to
work with,
create some
the
kind of
attorney's office.
wording on that?
That's correct. I mean, I think that the procedure would be typically that we would speak to the sponsor and we would get the sponsor's ideas and we would send him a draft because you want to know that
Okay.
before he brings it forward, that the sponsor is
Yeah.
comfortable with it or wants to add things, et cetera.
All right.
Thank you.
So we voted to have a draft made for a resolution.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. All right, moving on. Any other new business? No? All right, let's move on to land use, please. Oh, you won?
Will all those persons who will be testifying on an item, please stand and raise your right hand.
Las personas que quisieran prestar sus opiniones delante de esta junta, por favor pónganse de pie y alcen la mano derecha.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? If so, say I do.
¿Usted jura o afirma que el testimonio que va a dar será la verdad, toda la verdad y únicamente la verdad y que Dios sea su testigo? Por favor, diga que sí, si la respuesta es afirmativa.
Let the record reflect that all have responded in the affirmative.
En el archivo público constará que todos han respondido afirmativamente.
All right. LU1, please.
First reading of proposed ordinance amending the future land use map from low-density residential to transit-oriented development district. Property located at 980 East 27th Street, Hialeah, zoned R1, one-family district. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item's on first reading.
And a
Um,
motion,
I have a motion by Councilman
it's
Zogby.
just a formality, it's just their last holdout, right? It's the last holdout. Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
All right.
Can you please give, if you're gonna address the council, can you please give your name and your business address?
Good evening, Rafael. Congratulations on being new city attorney. Maritza Haro with office at 200 South Biscayne Boulevard. Congratulations to the new council president and your reelection. And thank you for your service. I'm here on behalf of Metro Park 2 LLC. As Councilman Zogby mentioned, I have a brief presentation. I know it's a long night. But it is the last remaining holdout parcel. This entire block was before the council back in April and the application was approved. We've reached an agreement with the current owner of that parcel and are ready to move forward with the land use amendment and rezoning, which is companion item PZ3. So we respectfully request your approval.
To the chair,
Yes, sir, you recognize.
just out of curiosity, how much did they get? What was the agreement for?
I don't know.
Ballpark. Ballpark.
I don't
How
have
many
that
of these zeros?
information. We represent them on the land use and zoning matters strictly.
It's all right. I second.
So I have a motion by,
Zogby and a second by
Councilman-
Rodriguez.
okay, let's go. Let's call the roll.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Tumidor.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for December 2023.
Thank you. All right. Your item is also with PZ3, right? Can we just do that item, please? Together? Can we
Thank
read
you so
this?
much. I appreciate
First
that.
reading of proposed ordinance rezoning property from R1 One Family District to TOD Transit Oriented Development District. Property located at 980 East 27th Street, Hialeah, zoned R1 One Family District. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Perfect. This item is also on first reading.
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Zogby.
Second.
And I have a second by Vice President Garcia Robes. Can we please call the roll?
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes,
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Tumidor.
He's not on the dais.
He is away. Mr. Zogby.
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for December 2023.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
You too.
All right. Moving on to LU2, please.
First reading of proposed ordinance amending the future land use map from medium density residential to high density residential. Property located at 1050 and 1070 Southeast 9th Court, Hialeah, zoned R3, one family district. Repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. This item is on first reading. Do I have anyone in council chambers? Oh, I'm on the
Mr.
dais that would like to speak.
Mr. Mestre.
Is he online? Oh, there he is. Good evening, Mr. Mestre. I think he's muted.
Yeah.
Mr. Mestre, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
I was trying to, but it wasn't allowing me to, but now we're okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cesar Mestre with law offices at 8105 Northwest 155th Street, Miami Lakes, Florida. And I'd like to say also congratulations to the new president, the existing vice president and the new council member. Welcome.
Thank you.
I have a small presentation. I'll share my screen. Says host will not allow me to share screen.
Can you try again?
Won't let me.
Yeah,
There we go.
I think that they
got
allowed
it.
you now.
I got it
Yeah,
now.
yeah, they're working on it.
Okay, this is a land use amendment from medium to high density. This is two lots that are located at 1070 Southeast 9th Court and 1050 Southeast 9th Court. They are just south of Southeast Park. It's the vacant lot directly south of the park and the lot next to it. This will show you the land use and the current zoning right there. It is located in area 3 of the NBD maps from Hialeah. This is what the property looks like now. The one on the left side is the single family home that's there. That was built, I believe, in the 50s. And the one on the right is the vacant lot. We're going to demolish the single family house and build a new project with 8 two-story, 8 two-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story buildings. It's going to be 2 buildings, one in the front, one in the back, with the parking in the middle. This shows you the area directly south of our lots. As you can see, the neighborhood has 2-story apartment buildings on the same block. This is the view of the property directly across the street to our east. This is where the industrial area of Hialeah starts on Southeast Hialeah. This is the same properties across the street, just a little bit with a northern view. This is the park that is located right next to us, just a northern view of 9th Court. Again, the buildings next to us, as you can see, all 2-story multifamily buildings. This is the unit count for the buildings in the area. The 8 on the south side of the park is the ones that we're proposing. Right next to us, it's 3 lots. We have 2. The one to our south has 3 lots and they have 12 units. The one next to that has 3. As you can see, there's 8 and 8.
Can I motion and make your life easier, Caesar?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion by Council Member Zogby and we have a second by Council Member Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Pacheco?
I'm sorry, I have a question. I didn't quite understand this item. So this is item LU2 and it's to change from medium density to high density residential.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's correct. Under medium density, we could build 7.3 units. Under the high density, we can build the 8 units, which is what we're proposing and with what is consistent with the area. And just so you know, the Planning and Zoning Board voted unanimously to recommend approval, and the staff from the zoning department, Deborah Storch, also recommended approval. And we will come back to you again with a rezoning application where we'll detail to you the actual layout of the building and the number of units, the sizes, the parking, etc. This part's just the land use.
Okay, so it was.
We have a first and a second. So,
Yes.
yeah, Ms. Thank you. Pacheco, your vote, ma'am? Yes, and thank you for the explanation.
No problem.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez is away. Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Tumidor is still away. Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for December 12th, 2023.
Deborah, we need to clean, is that gonna continue the whole area? Sorry, that'll be awesome if we can change the whole 2 blocks like that, right? If I'm mistaken? Yeah. because I passed by there, it was kind of rough the other days. I see the vision already. Thank you. It's easier. We need another area there.
Okay, we're moving on
The
to
other side.
zoning. PZ one.
Second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a variance permit to allow the construction of a new medical center that is 7 stories in height, where 3 stories are the maximum allowable height, and to allow 725 parking spaces, where 768 parking spaces are required. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-1119 and 98-2189, subsection 7, property located at 1475 West 49th Place, Hialeah, Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District, legally described herein, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, this item is on second reading, so it's open for public discussion. Do we have any? Sure.
Frank de la Paz, 1100 Southwest 104th Street. It's for medical office, but is there any restriction the type of medical usage? I don't like to have it. There will be no mental health.
Remember that they
Na-
came for
name
a
and address,
condition,
Deborah,
sorry,
please.
sorry.
It's
They were a storage zoning director, 501 Palm Avenue. They came for a CUP when a couple of years ago, because they were planning to expand some of the uses. This is like a hospital type facility, so there are no limitations on the type of use that you can have there.
So eventually it can become another Southwind and mental health hospital by itself?
Not by itself, because it's a complex that has, here you have the director, you can ask him, it's a complex that has different specialties. I believe that this will be medical offices, complementary.
Come to the, sir, stand,
But when you,
come to the mic, please.
when the applicant's representative is coming forward to address the council, please just repeat your name and answer the question.
Yes.
To the chair.
Carlos Espinosa, 365 Arvida Parkway, Gable State. I'm the clinical CEO and one of the owner. It will be all kind of medical office. It will be from surgical place to mental health to all kind of stuff. It's an extension of the Larkin Hospital.
But it's outpatient offices.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is an outpatient. We're not planning from right now, we're not planning to do an inpatient. It's gonna be an outpatient.
Okay.
You don't have residential patients, you don't have overnight patients in that facility. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No.
The proposal is for medical offices with the parking for the medical offices, no by the number of beds.
Okay. Okay, so do we have anyone online?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So anyone in the council wanna? What's the pleasure of the council with this item?
Motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Zogby. Do we have a second? Yes, thank you. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a council member I'm sorry, we have a second by Councilmember Rodriguez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Ms. Garcia Robes?
Yes.
Ms. Perez? Mr. Rodriguez? Mr. Tumidor is still away. Mr. Zogby?
Yes.
Mr. Calvo?
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco?
Yes.
Motion carries. The item is approved.
That was a good question.
You're welcome.
De La Paz.
All right, moving on to PZ two.
Ma'am, if I can just record your vote for item LU2, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Item PZ2, second reading and public hearing of proposed ordinance granting a special use permit pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-161, to allow the use of a 3,140 square foot bay as a clinical investigational research facility operating 24 hours and 7 days a week with a maximum of 12 patients per day and 8 staff members. Granting a variance permit to allow 48 parking spaces where 93 parking spaces are required on an existing industrial building where 76,505 square feet will remain for industrial use and 3,140 square feet will be repurposed for commercial use. In contrast to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-2189, subsection 5, entitled Minimum Required Off-Street Parking Spaces, property located at 2300 West 8th Avenue, Hialeah, zoned M1 Industrial District, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you so much. This item is on second reading and public hearing. Is there anyone in council chambers or online that would like to speak on behalf of the item? I see Caesar is there, so when Mr. Ozzy's done, to unmute him.
Jose Ozzy, 788 Southeast Park Drive. I'm here to speak about the wording that we're using, the neighbors in this item and in all items, especially if they don't read English, they don't understand like the word special use permit. We know what that is, but neighbors don't know what it is. I want to go back to the Committee on Ethics and Trust where they recommended, where the attorney spoke for Deborah, that we provide information in Spanish. And last Tuesday, Rafael, your assistant, she's new, I don't know her name, whatever her name, I'm sorry, that was bad. What was her name? The new assistant city attorney? A lady like, well, she represented Steve Bovo in the Commission on Ethics and Trust, and the Commission on Ethics and Trust was then very strong. We're 95% Spanish speaking community. We need to give information in Spanish. Council President Jesus Tunador, I hope you make this a priority where we give information in Spanish. We let the residents know what's going on. One of the examples that they use with your assistant attorney, they said the voting department provides information English, Spanish, and Creole. And the excuse that Alex used and the mayor used is too costly to publicize in Spanish. That's like, you are the city council. When something needs to be corrected, I hope you make this a priority where we need to let people know. These people, they don't know, I'm not speaking for them. Some of them don't understand what special use permit means, I'm gonna give you my example where I went to the Hialeah 21. The hotel is used sometimes for prostitution. Presidente, that got totally remodeled, is gonna be a high-end condo. The next hotel, the one used for, I live a block from each side. I had no idea what was going on. Not only was it not in Spanish, where the residents didn't know, where we really gotta hope, Council President Jesus, I have 100% faith in you, that we get the information in Spanish, we let the residents know what's going on. Even with me, I went to the Hialeah 2050 with the projects of my house. They weren't even up on the boards. I'm like, we need to be transparent. If we're gonna bring a clinic, if we're gonna bring whatever, it's okay. I'm for 90% of this. I'm for 90% of this, but we need to inform people in Spanish. We're 95% Spanish speaking. A lot of I would say, I'm gonna be conservative, 50% of our residents don't read English, And then these words are hard, like the land use, TO, all that. I'm just learning that. So hopefully the council, please take this a priority. Let's give information in Spanish. I have a lot of hope for you, President. And I forgot, I apologize. I want to congratulate you, Ms. Pacheco. I voted for Vivian because she backed me up with the last meeting. I want to be honest. But I'm very proud of you. You worked very hard. And I want to recognize Vivian because she did a lot of work for a lot of years here. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. I would like the city attorney to give us his thoughts, his feedback.
I'll be happy to through the chair. So briefly, to the extent of my personal knowledge, information, belief from various local governments in South Florida, the speaker is correct in that sometimes there are translations of ballot languages, referendum, and election items into different languages. English, Spanish, Creole. I am not personally aware in various local agencies that I have worked, nor have I ever seen an example of your day-to-day zoning matters being translated. I am not aware of any legal obligation to do so. Whatever the city decides to do, it's a policy decision, but I'm just advising you, I'm not aware of any legal obligation to do so, to be clear. And with all due respect to Miami-Dade County Ethics Commission, which is a wonderful and illuminating body, they say many things, but it's really a dicta or a discourse, because really their jurisdiction is the ethics code. So I mean, they can opine about, well, we think a city should do this, or we think, but really bottom line, what they have jurisdiction over are the ethics codes, conflicts, and that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I think Pepper has a point, right? I mean, it is a 95% Spanish speaking community. I don't think we should necessarily go ahead and translate the entire agenda. I think that would be pretty cumbersome. But I can see a scenario where if a particular item, a resident, would like to see a Spanish version, I can see a scenario where, we can do that due diligence for them. I don't think it goes beyond that. Obviously, in public comment, we provide a translator. I think we could do a better job at just servicing our community, and I don't see really the downside other than it's going to take a little bit more money and a little bit more work. I don't think we got to do it for every item, but if there is a request for a particular item, how long could it take to translate, paragraphs or whatever it is?
And I want to explain you something.
Yes.
The
Please
process.
name and address for the record.
Deborah Storch, 501 Palm Avenue, zoning
Thank
director.
you.
You see the items here with the recommendation, but this is not done in one day. We receive many applications. We have many that have to wait several months to be heard, many because are incomplete or because there are projects that are not approvable. So by the time that we prepare the legal ad, that it has to be 10 days before the meeting, we have to prepare these postcards that are very small, and are postcards and are not envelopes because they are delivered quicker than the other ones. And even now the post office is not as quick as it used to be. Before you would send that postcard and it will arrive the next day. Now it takes longer. Sometimes it arrives before the day of the meeting, but there's a phone number and we receive many phone calls. And everyone in my office is bilingual, so they take the time, they explain what it's about, they describe. So it's not that they don't know, they know. And also we have a planning and zoning manual that is in English and in Spanish explains in a very regular language what a special use permit is, what a conditional use permit. So you cannot be everything translating and having 10 pages because no one reads that page. So we try to be accessible, and if we think we are, there is a phone number there. Even sometimes they come to the planning and zoning board meeting and they come with the cards, we translate them, we explain what is the situation. Sometimes they don't care, they don't stay. Some other times they stay and they post their opinion. So I think we are very open, and in all departments we offer the services in English and in Spanish. So
the sign that we post, that orange sign that we post at the property location, is that in bilingual or is that just in English?
It's in English. Also because there's those signs, we send them to a special place and they do them from one day to the other. It's not like, and if we put too many things, and if you're driving, you won't be able to see that. Some municipalities don't even do that. They put a number. So with that number, you have to enter into the website, and then in the website, we can put a reference, maybe in the card and maybe in the in those signs that we put. So if someone needs the translation, well, maybe we can have that in the website in Spanish, but not in that orange sign and in the card.
I just had a quick question. Who pays for the sign? Is it the applicant? Or
The
city?
applicant, yes.
So maybe I think the path forward is, hey, you got to pay for another sign in Spanish, right?
So
why don't we do like a cost analysis of how much it would, what does that sign cost? What would it cost if we make that postcard a little bit larger to send? I know that it's like a 4x6, or it's a small card, right? A 4x2? The
Yeah,
little postcard that we send. What if we maybe
it's small, yes.
What if we maybe get a cost analysis and see how much it would
Well,
and
it's
maybe
the-
we
it's the
wouldn't
cost,
translate
and
the
then
entire paragraph.
We need someone to translate the whole paragraph. And if you want, we can send two to each address, and that's it. One in English, one in Spanish.
Well,
that
let's do
would
a
be
cost
the
analysis.
solution.
How much would it cost if we would make that postcard a little bit larger to include at least, I guess, we would have to discuss to see what would be the appropriate legal limit of how many words we could include that explains the property
Yeah, but
change, the
if there
change of
is a
use.
limit and you have a long application, you won't be able to. The solution would be to send two postcards, one in English, one in Spanish. So everyone will receive two postcards, and it will be, we will have to add something to the application, because if not, we will have to bear
And to
that
refer
cost.
to Councilman Calvo's question, the postcard is also paid by the applicant, or is that a city cost?
It's the city cost, but the city charges a fee for the application.
Okay, so let's run a cost analysis on what the postcards are and the cost of the sign, and let's see how much that would cost the applicant.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
So sorry, that'll be also, I know you have a small staff there, right? Like 4 or 5 people?
Yes.
And we talked about this before. Would you need a full-time team member for this? Excuse me.
Well, I'm bringing
Additionally?
I'm bringing a principal planner, and in the summer, I'm planning to get 2 interns, and hopefully one of
No.
the interns then can stay full time. So
Trust me, I see, okay, I see your work, that's why.
Yeah, we can handle it.
All right. I remember before we needed 5 people, 6 additional people before.
Yes, you recognize.
And yeah, it's again, it's policy and economics for the city to decide, but I don't know offhand. But if the fee is just set generically to say the cost of the application is, that's good, but if you have a specific line amount and it only covers, you might, that might have to be modified. Am I being clear as to what?
Yeah, what my idea is that we will have to ask the applicant to bring double of the labels. It will be an additional cost.
Yes,
to them.
yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and then we'll do 2 postcards, but the problem is one English, one Spanish. What about then if you have someone that wants Creole, another one that wants Portuguese? So where we will end this?
You would, if the city decides that that's warranted, you would make a policy decision to do that, change whatever legislation is needed, and you would decide that based on the statistical analysis that, for example, X% of the city is Spanish speaking and 0.03 speaks, Portuguese, and 0.02 speaks,
Creole.
right, then you would perhaps not do anything other
Right.
than Spanish, right? So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
All right.
Through the chair.
So do you think that you will need to bring a resolution to?
I think after the council, in my view, after the council considers the options, yes, you need a resolution. And again, if the code sets forth specific fees, we'll talk about that later. But if it does, then you're gonna have to amend that as well, okay?
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes,
If it doesn't, then but yeah, resolution for sure at minimums.
yes. No, because on one side you put the label
Postage.
and you put the postage stamp,
Yeah.
and then on the other side you put, then we'll send 2 postcards. We'll try that.
Okay.
We'll do a test to see how it
So do we
works.
need a motion then? A motion to draft a resolution and having the bilingual wordage? On.
Well, that's depends on the will of the council. I thought you wanted to get an analysis first from staff before you, I
Well,
thought.
I motion that we draft the resolution, and that interim period, we'll figure out the.
We figure out the cost analysis, I guess. That's part of it. What's the pleasure of the council? Anyone else has any input?
That's it. So, and just to be clear, because I know that one of the concerns that Pepper had a while ago was the terminology. And I think, Rafael, the terminology is the terminology, right? I mean, I think, because I get his point when he made reference to a card that went out regarding that park, and even he struggled a bit to understand some of the definitions of the terminology on that card. Is there an alternative route or in addition to?
Yeah,
or-
I mean, what cities, what cities do is they translate, and legally you have to give an accurate translation, but it's a separate,
Yeah.
it's a certification of a translation, but the issue of simplifying planning and zoning jargon or something like that, there's certain things that they're technical words that have a meaning. So, variance, you are varying what the side yard or setback is in the code, conditional use. A use is authorized under specified terms, conditions, controls. I don't know, that's a different issue. And these are things that the city has been using for a long time. So, I think the city needs to convey that information
Yeah.
under its code as to
Okay.
what it's doing. So
Okay.
I don't know offhand how you can simplify that any
Got it.
other than
So-
someone calling and
so-
speaking this, right?
So through the chair, so
Yes, sir.
I move for a reso, but I really do hope a Marbellis, let's bring the reso back parallel to while Deborah performs her exercise on that analysis, right? So we have everything together. What does that cost estimate look like? And then we can take up that reso as well.
Maybe it's.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir.
just two small points. Food for thought for the city attorney. I guess there, we can envision a circumstance where we can change the terminology in our code, right? To use less archaic terms.
Yes, but that would first require a code amendment, and it would also require that for example, your planning and zoning board, though they're merely advisory, serve as your local land planning agency, which is required by state law. So anything you do there has to go through them for a recommendation to you. You could do it, but it has to be done deliberatively.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's just not a 1, 2, 3 thing, frankly.
Well, also
Right.
as an
So-
example, you go to a doctor and much of the terminology you don't understand. So you Google it, or you call the doctor, or you call the assistant and you get the explanation. It's very difficult to put a technical word and simplify it.
Right. Yeah, but we use a Euclidean code, which is obviously it uses archaic terminology, and so I can see a scenario where
What is an Euclidean code?
Euclidean is the case that ratified, the code that we use today. That There's residential properties, commercial properties, industrial. Is that
Right, what the council member is saying is the Euclidean code is the one that is a traditional code that says, you start with R1 and then you build up in density to R2 and R3 and then commercial and then office and then industrial, as opposed to a form-based code, which has to do with, how buildings look. But that's all, changing terminology in a code and redoing a code is just not an
Well,
overnight process,
Miami has a form-based code
Correct.
and ask them if everyone understands what T1, T2, T3 is. It's very
But they
complicated
don't,
for many,
in
so.
form-based code, they don't use those terms of variance necessarily because it's about form. It's not about.
No, they
use.
still
They
have.
still have, there's still
They still have
permits, there's
variances, there are
warrants,
many uses that
there's
have
warrants,
conditions
there's
for-
waivers, there's major use special permits. There's large scale projects, there's still variances, there's there's an entire article on permits and different people may think the code here is complicated, but Miami 21 is hundreds of pages and hundreds of maps. Okay. So
My second point, just real quick, do we have any certified translators in the city? Does anybody have
No,
that
sir, we do
designation?
not.
Maybe
do
we
not.
should put somebody through a course. That might be part of it, right? I mean,
So through the chair, so Deborah, I think, and again, that's why if, we're gonna go through this, we're gonna pass this additional cost on to the applicant. I mean, I want to make sure that it's the juice is worth the squeeze, right? So if we're gonna go ahead and do this, well, by us translating in Spanish, I mean, is the resident still gonna understand?
Not understand,
Right,
right.
the terminology?
Yeah, they will still don't.
Right, I mean,
understand the
first
terminology.
reading a proposed ordinance, special use permit, neighborhood business, I mean, so it's still, I don't know if it gets the job done. But either way.
That's why we have the manual. Maybe we have to make that manual more accessible to let everyone know that there is a manual, and that manual explains everything in a very plain language. So there you understand what is a conditional use permit, what is a special use permit, what is a variance.
Can we get the manual maybe in Spanish also?
It is, we have
It's
it in
Spa-
English and in
okay.
Spanish, yes.
Well, then maybe disseminating, I mean, I
Maybe
was.
let's send the manual.
Maybe
Yeah.
we can send the manual with the water bill, we can send the manual, so everyone has the manual, or we can let them know that there is a planning and zoning board manual available online in English and in Spanish, so when they receive those cards, like an educational thing, so everyone knows that the manual exists.
Through the chair. So I don't
Yes,
want to, I don't want to waste time. So I'll rescind the motion, but if you just, either way, if you don't mind just performing the exercise, so we can
Okay.
take a look at it at the next meeting, that'll be great.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, good.
Yes.
Without prejudice for, he'll bring this.
Yes.
That's fine.
All right. So we still have to vote on this item. We have a motion by Councilman Zogby.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Tundidor.
Ms. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Motion carries, the item is approved.
Thank you. Moving on to PZ4.
First reading of proposed ordinance granting a special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay pursuant to Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-1630.8, granting a variance permit to allow 17% of the units with an area of 692 square feet, where 850 square feet is the minimum area required, and only 10% of the units may have an area of 600 square feet, and a variance to waive the building mass and building frontage development standards, all in contrast to the Hialeah Code of Ordinances, section 98-1630.2 and 98-1630.3, subsections C and D. Property located at 1116 Palm Avenue, Hialeah, Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Repeating all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for penalties for violation hereof, providing for a severability clause, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. This item is on first reading. Do I have any comments for discussion? Okay,
Motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Tundidor.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Calvo.
Yes.
Mr. Tumidor,
Yes.
Mr. Zogby,
Yes.
Mr. Calvo,
Yes.
Ms. Pacheco,
Yes.
Ms. Garcia Robes.
Yes.
Ms. Perez.
Yes.
Mr. Rodriguez. Motion carries, the item is approved. Second reading and public hearing is scheduled for December 12th, 2023.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have any city council discussion?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, motion to adjourn at 9:45. Next city council meeting will be Tuesday, December 12th.